All right, everyone, another exciting day in the market comes to a close, and I'll tell you what, it was a good day. Now, mind you, I still think that there's some things that we need to take a look at, setting us up for that next big play that we have coming our way. I'm going to share that with you in this video. I'm also going to tell you about the Discord where you can join a community of thousands of members when the wins are just popping off all the time. So starting at 9:35 AI, we got a shout out to 808 Tensei, one of the other panel experts besides myself that's over there. Got a shout out because that big old $521 profit, I got scooped up 54% myself. I am called Bean, coming in about 14%, says he's been here for about a week and creeping on up. 43% profit coming from the real stud, and I believe that name. And then we have another $447 coming away for Sharkbait. Moving over to CJ there, also coming in over $500 in profit. Then we got some percentages coming our way. 48%. Looks like we got another 12%. Rigetti coming in around another 11%. There's 808 Tensei himself coming in. Scalp from a liquidity grab coming in 36, almost 37%. Swisher Sweets coming in. Even more on top of that yet. You can't really see it on here on your screen. But I'll tell you what, like this is every day. It's constant. It's not that every play is a winner, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of winners that go out there where the winners happen more often than the losers, and we provide that information through our channels that are over there. You guys can come over and join us. Links in the description. Let's get into the charts on this. Actually, first thing, real quick before the charts is PPI comes out tomorrow at 8:30. And I did just want to make a quick comment on this one that as long as we don't necessarily want to keep on seeing negative prints like we see with the -0.4, the -0.1, but we do want to stay around consensus. As long as we don't get some cooking hot numbers here like 0.4, 0.6, honestly, just even a little bit warm for inflation, just slightly elevated. So at consensus, maybe up above a little bit, might go make the market go just a little bit if it comes in just a little warm. But if it comes in flaming hot, that's when the market's going to have a harder time shaking that. But I do expect that we're going to come around a consensus, maybe even beat consensus a little bit. So we'll see. I think the market's going to be like, that's good. Everything checks out. And that's with the tariffs on the back because that's from the April numbers. And so that doesn't bring in any sort of the deals and stuff. That's when the peak fear of tariffs, if you will, would be into place. And we'll see if those producer prices gotten affected to the point where they're going to be passed on to the consumers. Now, mind you, that also brings in the conversation of pricing power and whether or not the companies have to raise those prices. And that's where you start to get like, if there is going to be a recession, maybe not yet. So here we go. What we got for QQQ. There we are. Let me zoom into this thing. Told you before, if you've been watching my channel, about the gap that we have down here between the candle that we got on Monday and the candle that we closed on, actually going back to Thursday. We actually gapped up from Friday. There's a whole space and then it needs to be filled. So we can see that pull back maybe as far to 491, maybe 494 is what it looks like. We don't necessarily have to get there anytime soon. We can go days, weeks, months without even being there, but there is a gap. And that is worth noting that it does exist. And look at where those blue lines are. We are right just in the midst of this area of chop that is where the all-time highs are sitting for the NASDAQ 100 for QQQ as we're looking at right now. And it's very similar over here when we look at SPY, that it still has that gap there. You can see still button up against resistance, needs to make it up over it. And just south of this area of chop, once again, that we have to the north, I think that it's going to take a momentum cool down in order for us to see that push higher. So I do think that at some time in the near future, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's Friday, that maybe we just lock in some profits on Friday, for example. I think that would be a good example of something that could happen this week where we find out where the floor is, because we're definitely finding out where the ceiling is with the S&P and the Qs, not necessarily finding the ceiling as solidly yet. Maybe it gives us a little bit more. Maybe it takes us up to 520, 521. We're going to have to watch and see. If this does prove to be the ceiling for right now, then when it's going to start looking for the floor, and then maybe we pull back to 513, maybe we pull back as far as 510. We're going to have to watch and see. I think it's going to be a minor and quick drawdown, and then we have that next leg, which takes us up even higher than what we have right now. I think that it's game on right now. We're up above the 200-day. I think some momentum cooling could do us some good. We got the 20 and 50 crossing. Cool it down a little bit, pull back a little bit, find a nice floor, and then let those bulls run again once they recover their strength. So that doesn't have to happen necessarily this week, but I think it will happen this week. We'll watch and see. IWM still having a little bit of trouble breaking this resistance that happens to be right at about 209. Need to sit on top of it, have further room to the upside. I do think that the momentum's cool enough here that we could see a little bit of whipping around, if you will, where maybe the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 pull back a little bit, and the IWM Russell 2000 stocks has its day in the sun where it outperforms, it moves even stronger to the upside. We're going to have to watch and see. Today, the least performing out of the 3 indices that we have is the Russell 2000. Moving over to Nvidia, still got that price tag at 144 today. I said we had to close above 133.74 is actually that number, and we did close above it. In the post-market, we're drifting up above it, and that's a good thing. Momentum showing overbought, but this is a strongly trending stock. We'll see if we get there. I will tell you that when you look at the 30-minute chart, there's the rising wedge, which is a bearish reversal pattern, but it is an intraday one. It does not overtake the prevailing bullish sentiment. It just could be some sort of clue that we're going to have a little bit of cooling coming to Nvidia stock, maybe Thursday, maybe Friday. I do think that we're going to hit my price target by earnings, which comes out on Wednesday, May 28th. We'll see if I'm right or not. You guys can keep on watching. I'm going to keep on tracking. I'll keep on reporting what I'm seeing to you. If we do pull back on this, 125 would actually be a great place to find the floor. You can see that we blasted right through it last time, even though it was massive resistance for us. So anywhere from 125 to 130 would actually be really great. We'll see if we get that retest of the floor on this thing. Will it be the round number like 130? Will it be the massive support like 125? We're going to have to watch and see. You can see that it's still moving up in the post-market here. We'll see if it popping out of the top of this, by the way, is a bullish thing. If we blast out above the top trend line, that's even better. Tomorrow's a great day. We're going to have to watch and see. Tesla. When we look at Tesla, I talked about this area of resistance. I said in the pre-market this morning, 343 to 352 is what we should be watching. We got stopped out right at 350. That's where we peaked out on things, sort of settled in there since we crossed up into that territory. We pulled back almost as far as 336, where we have this support line in white that's right here on your chart that you might be able to see. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you. There we go. Zoom in a little bit more, make the numbers a little bit fatter, draw it in. Yeah, there it is. So this red resistance area sitting on top of that is going to be bullish for us. We have to watch and see if we get there. Bitcoin sort of cooling down a little bit, kind of like what I talked about for the indices needing to do. I feel like crypto has had a lot of movement during the time the stock market's had a lot of movement. We're going to have to watch and see if we keep that movement. By the way, here's a rising wedge pattern that we broke out of the top of, and we had a nice little move upward, kind of marking time, but staying on top of this top trend line. We need to sit on top of 107, 179. That's going to allow us that room to get to 109, 356. Which goes back to these all-time highs that we saw. We need to sit on top of that with a full candle on good volume, be a good thing. If we can, I think that really opens up that next big move that we have for Bitcoin. So we'll keep our eyes out and our fingers crossed on that one. And let me take that in technicals because this one's kind of messy for you. XRP, there we go. We want to stay up above 250 on this one. If we're able to hold 250 on this, then we have room up to 287 before we start to hit big resistance again. After that, $3, and then we can try taking on 340, which is our previous peak that we had over here. We'll see if we get there again. SUI, as I'm going to keep calling it. Perhaps it's in a rising wedge pattern. Still has room to the upside. Remember, it's not until it falls out that we actually have confirmation of the pattern and then a retest of the trend line, the bottom trend line, and then a sell-off. Just don't have it yet. I will say that the momentum is cooling off a little bit, so we could have a little bit of a cooling period before we move up to my price target of $5 per SUI token. We'll keep our fingers crossed once again that we get there. I don't know that we'll get there, but definitely if you look to see where that points out, if we stay in that for a little while longer, it comes out to 488, which is darn close to that 497. That what rounds up to 497 for SUI. And then finally, my friends, Ethereum. There we go. Oh, by the way, Tesla. I don't know if I mentioned this. 30-minute chart on Tesla looking a lot the same as what we have for Nvidia, that you have this rising up of prices in a wedge type formation. So there's your ascending wedge or your rising wedge. And if you look down here at the bottom of this to the RSI, we have a decrease in the momentum for Tesla. So there could be just a small cooling period for Tesla coming up. But once again, just like I said, for Nvidia, the prevailing and predominant momentum move that we have right now is still a bullish one, but we're starting to get into oversold territory, at least on a daily basis. We could see it kind of rest a little bit before the next leg up. Doesn't have to, but it could definitely happen. The technicals are suggesting that maybe it will. We'll have to watch and see. Ethereum, $3,300 price tag per ETH is what I'm looking at. Gets right in between these two numbers. Once again, a bit of a cooling period. And if I take down the technicals and put up the moving averages instead, take that down, put that up. There we go. The 200-day. That's what we need to sit on top of. Currently sitting at 2,700. And I did say, when we look at this, I put it over at the Discord. I said that we're going to have resistance from about 27 to 2,900, 2,700 to 2,900 per ETH. Going to have to watch for that. But I think the 200-day is that big one. So like I said, if we can sit on top of this orange line that's on here coming across your screen, that could be that launching point that we see. Enough support, enough of a floor to hold us and push us up to that $3,300 price tag per ETH. So guys, down in the description, if you want to see my technical analyses, if you want to see what I have over there as an expert panelist and the other panel experts, Stockmo over there as well, it's a joint Discord. Come on over and join us. We're sharing our analyses, our trades, our thoughts, our time, our attention over there, helping everyone to achieve financial freedom and make progress towards alpha in their portfolios through the information that we have to share with you, through the products and services that are over there at the Discord. The link's in the description. Sign up for the earner tier. It gets you unrestricted access to everything that Discord has to offer for, it's the highest level tier that there is, and it costs you just over $1 a day. And you guys saw the wins that were out there. The returns are there waiting for you, my friend, if you just step up and take your time to invest in yourself, to learn about the ins and outs of the trading game that we're playing, and then also taking a look at the trades that we put out there, looking to see if there's opportunity for yourself out there as well. Following your due diligence, seeing if it's something that you would also like to get into. And while there's no guarantee of profit, I can tell you having an entire team of people dedicated to helping you in that pursuit can't be a bad thing, especially with proven track records like we have. Links in the description. By the way, you can learn even more using the course link for Stockmo Academy. Sign up. And if you bundle the courses, there's two of them, an options course, a technical analysis course that includes the bread recipe trading strategy that I personally use, that Stockmo also uses. That is also in the description. Those two courses, bundle them. It's going to save you a ton of cash. And if you use code word doctor on any combination or individual course, it's going to save you a ton more cash. Guys, thank you for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.